Hello, everyone. I am Gerald. I am your moderator for this evening, or I should say morning.
This morning.
Feels like evening. Along we have our two hosts, Jordan Noble and Sarah Harris, along with our interpreter, Michelle. So just let everyone know we do not have chat open. If you have any questions, put that in the Q&A. If you want to talk to each other, put it into the Q&A. And we will answer any questions as they come up. For anyone who needs to take a roll call of any students they might have in this conference, you should be able to see the names of all the participants. If not, you can also use the Q&A for the roll call. We are not allowing anyone to speak during the conference unless they have a disability that specifically stops them from typing. If you do have such a disability that stops you from typing into the Q&A, please raise your hand and we will allow you to speak eventually. And that's all I have for now.
Well, thank you, Gerald. And just a couple little housekeeping things to add to that. If you are blind and using a screen reader on Zoom on your PC, you're going to use Alt-Y. If you are using a Mac, it's Option Y. And then if you are on your device, either a tablet or a smartphone, you should be able to swipe and hear the raise hand feature, and you just double tap that if you are unable to type in the Q&A. We're using the Q&A because it cuts down on all the chatter in the ears of folks who are using a screen reader, which is really amazing, and it works just as well, if not better, for our moderators. So that's what we are doing today. And we're just going to give it a couple more minutes to make sure everybody gets in. But if you want to chat in the Q&A and say hi and where you're coming from, that's fantastic too, because we have folks from all across the state of California that are joining us, which is amazing.
And we also have a reminder for wayfinders students to please comment in the Q&A to let your teachers know that you are here.
And welcome all my Wayfinders friends. And Gerald, just if you could let me know kind of when we see the attendees joining, slow down or stop, that'll be great, and then we'll get rolling.
We are currently holding at 58, 59. I'll let you know when it's already slowing down, but I'll let you know when it comes to a complete stop.
All right, we're going to start at 9:03 then, because we're at 9:02 in 15 seconds. That's what my handy dandy watch tells me. And then do we have Michelle nice and spotlighted?
Yes.
Awesome.
Got you covered.
Cool, cool. And then we just need to hit record, or did you already hit record?
It's already recording.
Oh, there we go. All right. Are we ready, everybody? I think we are. All right. So welcome to the last day of the 2021 Virtual Self Advocacy Conference. I'm empowered. It's my life. And this conference is brought to you by Resources for Independence Central Valley Regional Center, EPU Children's Center, and the State Council on Developmental Disabilities Sequoia office. And we are so happy to be bringing you day 4, our last day of the conference, and our theme for today is Listen Up, My Thoughts Count. And so today is all about advocacy. We have 2 sessions, this one right here, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And our second session will be from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. As a reminder, we've already talked about it a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and go over it one more time. We are in webinar mode, which means that you can hear us and see us, but you're unable to mute and unmute yourself. We have our Q&A open for comments and questions, so feel free to use that. If you are unable to type in the Q&A because you have a disability that does not allow you to be able to do that, then you can go ahead and raise your hand by using the raise hand function. If you are using a PC and JAWS or another screen reader, that's Alt-Y. A Mac with VoiceOver, that's Option Y. And if you're using your smart devices, either an iPad or an iPhone or an Android device, you should be able to find your raise hand feature and double tap on that. The reason why we're doing things that way is because we have a lot of great content that we want to share with you, and we want to make sure that we can get it all in.
And also, we have an interesting question. Someone asked, why are we recording?
We are recording, and thank you, that's a good question. And Jordan is really good about saying this, and I always forget. We are recording so that we can make all of this content available after the conference. We're going to go through and edit and make sure that everything's all good to go. And we're going to be putting this on YouTube, and we'll be sending links out to everyone who registered so that if you missed something or if you want to share it with a friend, you're able to do so. So be looking for that email coming to you. All right, and I think I got all my housekeeping. So Jordan, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, our first video is Larry Wenger. And the video is Speak Up, It's Your Life. When you speak up, you share your own ideas, and this will cause others to be inspired and follow with you as well. So by voicing your opinion, this helps many people to form their own opinions and feel safe enough to voice them. Take it away, Gerald.
It's good to be with you today, and today I'll be talking about self-advocacy and maybe at times straying over into systems advocacy. And so I'm really glad that you're with me today, and I'm happy to join everyone for this conference. My name is Larry Wenger, and I currently am the Executive Director at the Dale McIntosh Center, and we're the independent living center that provides services down in Orange County, so Anaheim and Santa Ana and places like that. So it's good to be with everyone. Previously, a few years ago, I was up in Fresno, and so maybe some of you recognize me, and if I were actually there in person, I would recognize you. So it's good to be with you anyway. Today's presentation is one that I've done before. This is in a little bit of a different format. The presentation is called Speak Up, It's Your Life. And it's a presentation that focuses on the importance of self-advocacy and what that is and how you might do it and why it's so important to you as an individual. And so that's our topic today. So I like to think of this as a plan. So before I launch into the plan, let me talk a little bit about what advocacy is. So, you know, there's different definitions for advocacy, but to me, what advocacy means is finding your voice, learning how to use your voice, and using it in a way to achieve a goal or objective that you might have or that a group of people might have. And so you accomplish advocacy, or you do advocacy in a variety of ways, depending on what your goal is. And so we'll talk more about that. But advocacy is simply doing something or doing things to achieve a goal. So the place to start is to ask yourself, what is it that you want to do, right? So to get the process started, you have to know what it is you want to do. And so, for example, you might want to learn to ride the bus. You might want to get a job. You may be thinking about training or college or something more formal like that that's going to help you get a great job in the future. Might be to get a driver's license or graduate from high school, get a car, or get your own place to live, learn to cook, or in general to solve a problem, right? So the point here is that your goal could be any number of things. It could be several of the things I listed, especially if you're a younger person, right? So originally when I gave this presentation, it was for a group of youth, young people. But even as older folks, we may have goals around saving money, buying a house, renting a new apartment, or getting involved in a political issue, right? So it could be any number of things. But you've got to have a place to start. You've got to have a goal. You're not going to make progress if you don't set a goal for yourself. The next step in the process is to think about how you're going to achieve that goal. And the first thing I always like to do is find support, right? I don't want to go it alone. So I ask myself, who can help me on my path to success? Who can help me on the path toward achieving the goals I've set for myself? And so it's better said, who are supporters, or who do I know in my life that can help me? And some examples could be friends, mom and dad, or your guardian or your parents, maybe your grandparents, a teacher, a mentor, so somebody who supports you, that you talk to and get advice from. But whoever it is, these people can keep you on track, keep you accountable is the term we use. They can also offer suggestions and support. And a good support person or persons will be able to give you important information about issues connected to the goal that you have for yourself. So I think back, for example, to a time when I'd gotten a job and I was trying to take the bus to work, and they weren't making announcements for the stops, right? The ADA requires. So maybe you have a disability, maybe you don't hear, or maybe you can't read the street signs as you go by and have good orientation. Maybe another disability, maybe you just don't read. Those announcements help you greatly. And so the Americans with Disabilities Act requires that buses make those announcements. But years ago, they weren't always good at that. So working with, I had to find someone who could give me information about what is supposed to happen, what should I expect, what is required, and that helped me to fine-tune my goal. So the person who supported me also provided me with a lot of important information. So that's an example. But it could be any of those people that I listed, or it could be somebody else. It's important to know when you will have reached your goal as well, right? So both in terms of setting a time frame up front, and then also we'll talk later about knowing when you've actually achieved your goal. Right? How will I know when I succeeded? How will I know when I have succeeded? Excuse me. But for now, we're more focused on the beginning of the process. I'm setting out, I've identified what it is I want to resolve or address. I've identified a person or a couple of people who can support me, keep me accountable, keep me on track, and who may be able to provide me with information that will help me be successful. And now I'm thinking about a kind of a time frame. So it might be 6 months from now, it might be a year from now. So I like to write down my goal in a way that says, this is my goal, and this is when I plan to reach it. So for example, I will learn to ride the bus on my own to and from work before December 31st of 2021. I want to move into my own place within 1 year, right? So those are examples of or I will get a job by July 1st of 2021, right? So you've set a milestone. You've set a time frame for when you expect to reach your goal, and it's a way of holding yourself accountable, and it's also a way of planning, right? So if I've set a goal that by December 31st of this year I want to have my own place, that's great. But now I've got to work on my plan. How is that going to happen? Right. And so I've got to be my own self advocate and develop a plan for how that's going to happen. Because if I just sit back and say, well, on December 31st, it's going to happen, guess what? If you don't do something, it is not going to happen. Right. So if I expect to be able to ride the bus by July 1st, or if I expect to have a job by a certain time, that's great, but I've got to write down a plan for how I'm going to do it. And if I don't do it, nobody else is going to. Or if I let them do it for me, I am probably not going to get what I want out of that process. Because if other people are writing your plan and writing your goals, it may not represent what you're actually hoping to achieve. Right? So it's really important to set that time frame. But then this goes to the next point that I think of as tactics, your plan, or how will you go about achieving your goal? So for example, let's just say my goal is to graduate high school, but I know that as I do that, I need accommodations. I'm going to need my teacher to support me, whatever it is. I may want to show up to the meeting where decisions about my accommodations and those types of things are made, and that's my IEP or my IPE, right? So I better show up there. Or if I need help riding the bus, if my goal is to be able to take the bus to work by a certain date, well, great, but I better find out who can help me achieve that goal, where I can get training and assistance, and then I better pick up the phone or knock on their door and ask for assistance, right? Or if I want to get my own place, if a friend and I, or whatever, on my own or whatever that is, want to get our own place, I better go about a process of getting training if there's certain things I need help with. So for example, I might need help with managing money. And so I better get some help with, writing a budget and figuring out how much money I have and what I can afford, right? If I want to ride the bus, I better figure out where I can get that training. If I want a job, I better figure out where I can get that type of help, so I achieve my goal by the date that I've set for myself. And it's really important to stress that as a person, as the person that this is about, so if these are my goals, I've got to own the process. I've got to be my own self-advocate. As I said earlier, if I let other people do that for me, it's not going to work. Or I may end up with something I didn't want or expect. Right? So I always like to say, whatever your goal is, you need to be talking to the person or persons who can either make change for you or help you make the change you want to see. And so a key part of being an advocate is being able to identify who has the power to give me what I want or what I need. I mean, ultimately, that's you. You've got to get involved in the process. But depending on what your goal is, there may be someone else out there who has the ability to make change or help you to change things to get what you need. So, for example, if I want to learn to ride the bus, I already talked about going and finding out where I can get that training and finding the person who can help me do that training, who can help me learn the route to work, right? Or learn the route to school. Or if I want to get a job, somebody who can teach me how to write a resume, or who does job placement and can help me find a job, right? Those are some examples. Or if I'm trying to get the city to fix a curb cut or install a curb cut, or get a drinking fountain lowered at a business, or whatever it is, right? That I've got to think about the situation and think about that this is a real key piece of advocacy, figure out who it is that can make the change that I want to see happen, right? So obviously it's you, but there's somebody else or an organization or a group of people out there who can also help you make that change. And one of the biggest pieces of this process is knowing when you've succeeded. So I will know I have succeeded when is the question, right? So you think about what it is you're working on and you ask yourself, how will I know when I've been successful? What will have changed? What will be different in my situation? What will be different in the world or in my city or in my home if I've been successful? Right. And so maybe that the answer to that is I will be able to do what I wasn't able to do before. Right. So maybe it's, getting the announcements made on the bus so you know where you're at, or maybe it's getting a business to become more accessible, or whatever the case might be. There'll be something will be different. I'll be able to do something I wasn't able to do before, or that I wasn't able to do as well as I wanted to do, or something has changed, right? And so that's the key here to succeeding in this is know what will be different when this change has happened. So those are some very practical tips for advocacy. I can't stress enough the need to whenever possible, to have others assist you in the process. There's power in numbers, right? So thinking about who else can help me to achieve change, not just thinking about who can support me or who can give me information, but who else might be part of my effort to achieve change, either for myself or in a system, right? So when we say system, that might be government, that might be getting legislation passed, it might be changing policies or procedures, right? So those are more systems things. But the key is that there is strength in numbers, and that as an advocate and when engaging in advocacy, it's really important to have not just supporters, but people actively engaged who are working with you and helping you to achieve the change you want to see. So, advocacy just in general, just in closing, just to say that advocacy is incredibly important. Many things have changed in the world because people cared enough to get involved and speak up and engage in the process, right? So if we just sit back and allow things to be what they will be and allow others to make decisions for us and allow whatever to happen, that's not going to work for us as people with disabilities or people from other minority groups or other communities, right? We have got to speak up for ourselves, and we've got to engage in the process and be a strong voice for change. And it's easy to do that when you have, or easier to do that, I should say, when you have supporters and people working alongside with you to make those changes happen. I've been part of groups that worked on a number of issues. I always talk about public transportation because that's one that I've been involved in often. And I can, just in speaking to that about getting more bus service or increasing accessibility, change with systems like that and around issues like that happens when people come together and work on an issue. And I also encourage thinking outside of your circle. I'm not a big, I'm tired of that think outside the box catchphrase. So we'll say think outside your circle, right? So, if you're a person who has a disability, you might automatically think, well, I'll talk to other people with disabilities who are also using public transportation or care about the issue and would want change. That's great. But what about seniors who may not drive anymore and need access to good quality public transportation? What about organizations that are concerned about social justice churches, faith community organizations, right, humanitarian organizations, other nonprofits who might serve folks who are Latino or African American or other communities, Asian, other communities, who serve people who also may or may not have disabilities, but also use public transportation, right? So that's a good example of bringing other allies to the table who can work alongside you to achieve change. So that's kind of systems level change. And individually, you know, there are likely other people out there facing some of the same challenges that you do. And so I always encourage finding other people who can work with you, and at very least finding a support system, right? Peers who have gone through those issues, who can provide you with valuable information and coaching and support as you go through it. So that's my presentation today. I'm always happy to talk to people about system change and individual advocacy as well. And I encourage you to connect to your local independent living center for support, either individually or with issues you're dealing with or on the systems level. And I'm always happy to, as I said, to answer questions and provide support. You can reach out to me at the Dale McIntosh Center, and I'm also happy to help. Thanks so much.
Awesome, awesome. And thank you to Larry, who is currently, as you said, at the Dell McIntosh Center as the executive director. And some of you may recognize him because, like you said, he used to be the executive director here at Resources for Independence Central Valley. So what we want to know is, what did you learn or what did you like about what you heard in the video? Go ahead and type in our Q&A, and if you have any questions about anything that Larry talked about, you can type that there as well. And then Jordan, as you see stuff, let's roll with it.
I got it. As of right now, the only comment about this, it said, my mom always told me that a closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Ah, that's a good one. And it's true. It's true. If you don't say what your needs are, if you don't speak up, yeah, no one's going to know. And a lot of times we have to remember that in life, people aren't doing something, you know, to be mean, or not doing something to be mean. A lot of times they just don't know what kind of supports we need.
Mm-hmm. Then we have another comment that says, I've learned about making a plan for myself.
Nice.
Another comment says, the way he had put the goals in the video and expressed it.
Awesome.
We have another comment, having a goal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having an end goal is always important.
Mm-hmm. Do a plan on your goal to achieve. Getting a job, renting a place to live, finding people to support on what you need.
Awesome. Lots of great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Jordan,
Making things fair for everyone is important, and then I'll stop.
That's true. That's true. And so Jordan, I don't know, should we roll into our next video? Maybe you want to introduce?
Yeah, sure. So our next video is our 10 tips video. Sometimes you may feel as if you have lost control over your life, your rights and your responsibilities. Regaining sense of the control by successfully advocating for yourself will give you back the hope and the self-esteem you need to work towards recovery. All right, Gerald, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
My name is Jordan Noble. I work at Resources for Independence, Central Valley. I'm going to be going over 10 steps to being an effective self-advocate. So the first step is to believe in yourself. You are a unique and valuable person. You are worth the effort that it takes to advocate for yourself and to protect your rights. You can do it. You may need to work on raising your self-esteem to really believe in yourself and become your own best advocate. So it's like, believe in yourself. You have to know your own worth and you have to believe in that worth and then show other people that. Step 2 is to know your rights. You are entitled to equality under the law. Some of us who have had mental health challenges erroneously believe that we do not have the same rights as others. So we're thinking wrongly in believing that they are allowed more rights than we are. I did for a while. I allowed people I did not know well and did not trust to make decisions for me and to take control of my life. So I now have systems in place. So if I'm not able to make good decisions for myself, others of my choice will make them for me. So it's not just, oh, I can't make a decision. Anyone can make a decision for me. No, I'm looking specifically for people that I trust who are going to make decisions for me for my best interest, not for their self-interest. Step 3 is decide what you want. Clarify for yourself exactly what you need. This will help you set your own goals and help you to be clear to others about what it is that you want and need for yourself. So ultimately, you know yourself best and you are going to know your own needs better than other people are. And you get to decide that. Number 4 is get the facts. When you advocate for yourself, you need to know what you are talking about and asking for. The internet is an excellent source of information, but it also is a source of wrong information as well. So we want to be sure that, the sources that we're relying on are accurate. So you need to check its accuracy by looking at several different references to see if they agree. You want to check with people who you know and have expertise in what you're considering. You want to talk to other people who've had those issues similar to yours. And you want to check references in your local library. So you want to contact mental health agencies and organizations for information on support. So Google is your friend. So if you're like, okay, I want to find a mental health agency, go on Google. Google search mental health agency near me, and then go from there and start emailing people and letting them know, what your goals are, what you're looking for. Step 5 is a planning strategy. You want to use the information that you have gathered. You want to plan a strategy that you feel will work to get what you need and you want for yourself. So you're going to think of several ways to address the problem. You're going to ask supporters for suggestions. Hey, what did you do in this situation? Help me. Get feedback on your ideas. This is a good idea or is this a bad idea? Will this work or will it not work? Then you're going to choose to take actions using the one that you feel has the most chance of being successful. Step 6 is gather support. So you want to advocate for what you need and want for yourself. And it is helpful to have support from family members, friends, and other people who have similar issues. Step 7, target your efforts. Who is the persons, organization that you need to deal with to get action on this matter? Talk directly with the person who can best assist you. It may take a few phone calls or a few emails to discover which organization or person can help or who is in charge, but it is worth the effort. The juice is worth the squeeze, as they say. Keep trying until you find the right person. Maybe the right person is your spouse or another family member. Perhaps it is the head of a local housing agency, your doctor, a case manager, a vocational rehabilitation counselor, or a state legislator. So you have to know, first think, what am I advocating for? And then who can best serve me, to give me the support that I need to advocate for this group or persons or whatever it is, or yourself. Step 8, express yourself clearly. So when you're asking for what you need and want for yourself, you want to be brief. Stick to the point. Don't allow yourself to be diverted or to ramble on with unimportant details. State your concern and how you want things changed. So no fluff. So if they, just want that quick little information, you don't want to like go on about, a story that happened to you last year and this is why you're advocating for this. And it's like a lot of unneeded information. They want to know why you're advocating for it, yes, but not a whole anecdote, not a whole story about what brought you here. So if the person tries to tell you reasons why you cannot achieve what it is that you want, repeat again what it is you want and expect until they either give it to you or help you to get it, or refer you to someone else who may be able to give you what you need. So, they might not have the answers, but don't let that, don't let that make you give up. So we're just going to keep trying. You can ask them, okay, you might not have this information. Do you have someone that I can contact that can give me more information about this subject? Step 9, assert yourself clearly. Don't lose your temper and lash out at the other person, their character, or their organization. You want to speak out, asking for what you need and want, and then listen. Respect the rights of others, but don't let them put you down or walk all over you. So, we understand if the answer is no, but we also don't want to let that deter us. Don't want to let that no prevent us from advocating for this cause. And then the last step is to be firm and persistent. Don't give up. Keep up after what you want. Always follow through on what you say and dedicate yourself to getting whatever it is that you need. All right, guys, thank you very much. I hope that, you're on your way to becoming an effective self-advocate and taking those 10 steps. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
That was awesome, Jordan. So what we'd like to hear from you guys is what if any of those steps or tips do you already use, or which ones were you not aware of and maybe want to start using? Go ahead and type in our Q&A and Jordan will read some of those aloud. Also, if you have any questions, ask those too.
As of right now, the only person who commented during the presentation said true fact.
Nice. Don't be shy, guys.
It sounds wonderful. Great job, Jordan.
And one thing that I think is really important that you talked about in that video, Jordan, is doing your research. Maybe, something that we may find an issue in, maybe we're like thinking that, oh, this is terrible, but maybe there's a reason why something is a way, that it is. And by doing our research, we can find that out. We can also come up with some alternative solutions to whatever it may be as well.
Mm-hmm. If I use all the tips mentioned in the video.
Awesome.
Another person said, just be yourself.
That's an important one.
Getting good advice from your pastor, family, friends, and teachers of people that you will trust their judgment.
That's right.
You have
Always
to be
good to
confident.
reach up. Oh,
go ahead, Zara. Sorry.
I was gonna say it's always good to reach out to your circle.
Mm-hmm. And then someone asked, what if you're able to speak up, but they don't listen to you? What's the next step?
Oh, that's always a hard one, right? So if you speak up and someone doesn't listen to you, there's a couple of different things there. It depends on the situation. Maybe if it's a situation where, for instance, it's your teacher, maybe you're having an issue in the classroom and you go to your teacher and you don't feel that you've been heard. Your next step after talking with your teacher and nothing really changes would be, going to, possibly your school counselor, maybe even the principal or whoever is the leader at your school. If you're at a college, you may want to go to Disabled Student Program Services. If it's a friend or family member, maybe you really have to sit down and have a really, really big heart-to-heart with them and come up with another way to communicate what you're feeling. Maybe if you've talked with them and that hasn't worked, maybe sitting down and writing a short letter, that could be something as well. It's just really not giving up.
Yeah, we have some more advice. If you get mad, talk with your family or take a breath. When I feel sad, I did talk with my care provider. She helped me out when we talk, and then she cheered me up. Then we have,
Nice.
I have been using the strategy to what I want versus what I need. And I'm still learning to become consistent in order to become more independent.
That's a good word, consistent. A lot easier said than done sometimes.
Then we have some great advice. Don't let people take advantage of your wants or your needs.
Right, exactly.
And last thing someone said was, do you have any advice for people that are scared to speak up?
Oh, if you're scared to speak up, sometimes one of the best things you can do is to practice. You can write down what it is that you want to be talking to someone about. Get some bullet points or talking points ready to go. You can practice talking in the mirror. That's my best advice, is to just practice, take a deep breath, and roll with it. Because a lot of times in the end, what we have to say isn't unwelcomed. It's a lot of times that people just don't know or don't understand, and nobody's ever said anything. So just really, practice may not make perfect, but practice definitely makes better.
And then someone asked one more question. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I answer this. They said, what happens if your family is broken and I can't talk to them?
Something that you could do, and Jordan, you may want to help me with this one, is you could reach out to, if you have a caregiver, if you have a service coordinator, you have someone like Jordan or myself that you work with, you can reach out to that person to help you to find some resources within your community to maybe do some sort of group counseling or group mediation to be able to figure out how to speak to them.
Definitely. That's some great advice, Sarah.
Awesome. And then did you want to go ahead and introduce the next video, Jordan?
Sure. The next video that we're playing is actually Sarah, and she's talking about characteristics of advocacy, speaking up for yourself. Take it away, Gerald.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Harris with Resources for Independence Central Valley. I'm a program manager and I oversee assistive technology systems change, as well as youth empowerment services. And today I'm going to talk to you about some characteristics that people, may want to have or develop in order to be great advocates. All right, let's get started. The first one is resilience. And what resilience is, we don't want to take things personally. It's the DTIP method, DTIP, don't take it personal. So sometimes we have to realize that, people don't know what they don't know, and it's up to us to teach them. And sometimes it's going to take 2 or 3 times about, talking about it and working with them. So it's good to be resilient. The next one is perseverance. So perseverance is to keep at it. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. And if it doesn't work out with the first person that you go to, maybe, you have something going on with one of your teachers at school, and you go to the teacher and you talk to them, and it's still just not resolved. Maybe you need to take it up a notch and go to your principal. Just don't give up. A lot of people do, and it ends up in not a good situation. So have some perseverance. The next one is respect. All right, we all hear about respect. That song, RESPECT. Respect is so important. If we go in all crazy and yelling and being mean, guess what? People aren't going to listen to us. They are going to think that we are just complainers and that we don't really know what we're talking about. But if we walk into a situation, whether it's a face-to-face, if it's writing an email or a letter, and talking about something that's important to us, something that we would like to see resolved or changed in a calm, respectful manner, people will listen. So always, always have respect. The next one up is have a collaborative style. Oh, collaborative style, what does that mean? So a collaborative style is when you work together with someone to make change. So say, for instance, it has something to do with your issue, has something to do with the transportation in your area. If you go and you work with the people who are in charge of transportation in order to find a solution to what's going on, guess what? It's a win for both sides. It's a win for you because the solution has happened, and it's a win for them because they've learned more about what works best for folks. Follow through. Follow through is very, very important. So if you have reached out to somebody and you have said, hey, I would like to see a difference made in this, here's a solution, you want to follow through with them. You want to follow through with an email or a phone call to see where they're at with that, to see if they have decided to, make that change, or if they need more information from you. You want to check in. And when you follow through, people tend to have more respect for you. They tend to listen more often to you, as well as it'll remind them that you're there to be reached out to just in case something comes up. The next one is know your strengths. Know your strengths and capitalize on them. So if you're a person that's really great at writing, be a letter writer, write letters to folks, and let them know about concerns you may have, some solutions. If your strength is going to meetings and talking in front of a group, do that. We all have our own pieces that we can share in the world of advocacy. And once you get your niche, get your spot, you'll be good to go. The next one is find champions in your network. So what that means is that you have people inside your network already, whether they're fellow students, whether they're coworkers, teachers, there are people out there that will advocate on your behalf. There are people that'll get together and stand next to you, help you do the research, help you do the legwork. and they'll be right there, right alongside of you, you know, and so find those champions within your circle that can help you. And then the last one that I want to share with you is pick your passion. There are so many things out there that we can all advocate for, but if you pick one or two things that you feel very strongly about and you know a lot about to be your passion, to be your spot that you go to, that is really where you're going to make the difference. There are, again, like I said, so many different things. There's transportation, there's medical, there's education, so forth and so forth, employment, everything. So if you pick your passion, you're going to be in a good spot. And overall, the big thing to remember is you really want to make sure that you find a mentor along the way, a peer that can work with you, someone who has been a part of advocacy work in the past. If you reach out to a person that has had a similar issue that you're having, they'll really be there to help you along the way. And that's the end of some characteristics and some tips to think about when being a good advocate. Thank you.
All right, great. So I want to ask you guys, open up the Q&A and please tell me what characteristics that you see in yourself and tell me about them. And then also, Sarah, someone commented during the video, actions speak louder than words.
They do. Just like we have our youth group, we call it Be About It because you don't just talk about it, you gotta be about it.
Mhm. So don't be shy. Let's tell me all about your characteristics. We have helpful advocate whenever something's wrong. That's great. We also have, I see myself writing a cookbook in the future because I'm working on creating my own recipes. That's a great goal. You know your interests, you're doing something about it, you set a goal. Now all you need is objectives along the way to get to that goal.
Ooh, sounds like somebody's been doing their homework.
I always work harder in my life now. Perseverance. I'm a hard landscape worker and a great artist. Being respectful of all sides. Get the respect you give. Someone said that they are helpful. That's a great characteristic. What's hard is for people to ask for help, really. It's easy to be a helpful person. I find it harder to ask someone for help. I'm introverted, very introverted. Does that mean that you would like to work on that, or are you saying that's your characteristic?
It could be something that someone would like to work on. And, you know, if you're an introverted person and speaking, you know, face to face or one-on-one with people, you know, can be a little intimidating. That's when, you know, letter writing really comes in as well, you know, writing an email or even sending something in the mail. That's, you know, a whole different idea too. And you can be creative. You can make your own video, like the videos we've been putting together. You can make a video. Hi, my name is so and so, and I feel very strongly about this. And here's, you know, what I think we could do about it. If that's more comfortable, you can do that too.
Definitely. Someone else said that their goal is doing stuff on my own.
And always remember though that doing stuff on your own doesn't mean that you're always alone. You can still ask for support where needed.
Mm-hmm. I pay close attention to detail in almost everything. I have many characteristics, like I would talk to my friends, family, and teachers about speaking up for myself. And in my life, I was terrified to speak up. Why do we have to speak up for ourselves anyway?
Well, it's good to speak up for yourself because you know you better than anybody. And if you have trouble speaking up for yourself as an individual, you can always find a supporter or an ally, someone that you can ask to speak up for you.
Mm-hmm. Someone talked about having perseverance as a characteristic. That's a good one.
An important one, that's for sure.
They like to ask questions too.
Oh, that's very, very important because, you know, we don't know unless we ask questions as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have a goal to be a live streamer.
Nice, nice. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and you guys can keep typing stuff in the Q&A, but we're gonna have Gerald launch our poll. And as a reminder, if you complete this poll, you will be entered to win a prize, and we're gonna be getting that together by the end of this week. Jordan and I are gonna sit down and draw some names. That's the fun part, and that's for, you know, all 4 weeks of the conference. So go ahead and answer our poll. We just want to remind you that our second session will start at 11 a.m. and we're going to continue this journey of advocacy. And, you know, listen, my thoughts count. It's important. And I hope everybody is having a nice Tuesday today.
Someone said they only speak up when they don't understand something.
That's a super important time to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
I won't stop speaking up, and that seems to be a problem sometimes. We have 82% of people have currently voted. If you could, I'll do me a solid and get me to 100, appreciate it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Instead of live streamer, they said live steamer, and so they corrected me in the chat. So I apologize for that.
So they want to steam things live?
I think it's about trains.
Oh, maybe it came from Kirby. Did it come from
totally
Kirby?
did. It totally did.
Hi,
Oh,
Kirby.
And here I thought they were going to steam some fish live. Oh well. I'm disappointed now.
Kirby is our train aficionado.
Oh yeah.
We're at currently 88% of people voted. Come on.
All right, come on. We really want to know what your thoughts are. And And I want to also give everybody a heads up that at the end of our second session, we'll be also launching a survey after our poll to talk about the conference as a whole.
So we currently have someone raising their hand. I can't look at the Q&A because I'm staring right at the poll.
All right.
So Jordan, if you could make sure that, that they cannot type, that would be wonderful. A lot of people did join after we finished our spiel about not letting people speak. So I'm not sure currently whether or not,
Tyler was in the chat. Tyler, if you could type in your question in the Q&A, that would be most helpful.
if not, keep your hand up for another 20 seconds or so and we will allow you to speak. All right, that's about 20 seconds, yeah.
Right, you'll allow him to speak. All right, Tyler, you have to unmute yourself and then go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, I actually don't have a question. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you just wanted to say hi, Tyler.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Happy Tuesday. All right, you can go ahead and mute yourself again. And then Gerald, where are we at with that poll?
92%. I think that's mostly from people leaving and not, being in the poll, but.
All right, well then we are going to go ahead and close the poll then. And we will see everybody back here in an hour. And Jordan and Gerald and Michelle, about 15 minutes before.
Sure, I'll see you guys then.
Awesome,
Just gonna
awesome. Happy,
download the poll really quick and then I'll end the thing.
awesome. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thanks for coming and we'll see you in an hour.
Sounds good. I'll see you 15 minutes before.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. You were super.
See you guys soon.
Thank you.